welcome to Wrestling News Update. I'm David Two Dogs Hayes.
I'm Chris Barnes, and I'm definitely wearing what I wore last time. It's been almost 6 weeks since WrestleMania, and wrestling fans are itching for another pay-per-view event. Meanwhile, the wrestlers themselves are kind of just itchy.
It's because their health coverage is still shitty. Former Universal Champion Brock Lesnar has announced that he has retired from MMA, much to the disappointment of...
Well, Drew McIntyre defended Roman Reigns recently, saying backstage he has the same command and presence that he has out in the arena, which is definitely the Superman punch of backhanded compliments.
All Elite Wrestling has announced their TV deal with TNT, the same network that aired WCW Nitro. We'd call it history repeating itself, but no one involved with professional wrestling has ever passed a history class.
Lars Sullivan is apparently undergoing sensitivity training, and honestly, no joke could possibly be funnier than that sentence.
Something Charlotte Flair, something Becky Lynch, something title belts.
That's still better than WWE stuff. Lynch will be defending both of her belts at this Sunday's Money in the Bank, which will be the toughest 2 hours she's had since starring in the Marines 6.
This week's Raw and SmackDown were both held at the O2 Arena in London, where Lynch entered the arena to a thunderous applause, marking the first time that the British have ever cheered for an Irish person.
The winners of the Money in the Bank briefcases have free reign to challenge anyone at any time, making it the quickest way to advance your career now that Vince is out of daughters to marry.
The fact that you have to beat 7 other people, climb a ladder, and get a briefcase is just further proof that no one in professional wrestling has ever had a real job.
After Money in the Bank, the pay-per-view that fans have already forgotten about, the WWE will be going back to Saudi Arabia for Super Showdown. There's no end to this joke because David and Robert are still trying to write one that won't get us all assassinated.
And while some fans are upset that being in Saudi Arabia means we won't get to see any women's matches at Super Showdown, the silver lining is that Sasha Banks will get to throw a tantrum in her own home instead of the dressing room.
We tried to reach out to Banks over her alleged outburst at WrestleMania, but never received a response because she's still holding her breath until she gets her way.
And the Iconics have held the women's tag team titles since WrestleMania, which is good news for their fans, but bad news for all the deer, some dogs, and fragile window panes. When we reached out to the Iconics for comment, they responded with, Iconic! And finally, it's been announced that Paige will be managing the tag team duo of Asuka and Kairi Sane, now known as the Kabuki Warriors. Now, if that sounds racially insensitive to you, just know that Vince McMahon had to be talked down from the Sushi Sisters and the Dog-Eating Ninjas.
Alright, for this edition of Wrestling News Update, I'm Chris Barnes.
And I'm David Two Dogs Hayes. Thanks for watching, and be sure to listen to the Money in the Bank episode of This Is a Work.